all the things that I believed in for all these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exist in college athletics.
College sports. Is there anything quite like them? Where dreams are forged, legends are born, and dynasties are crafted. But in the heart of this battleground lies a sleeping dragon, the transfer portal. Unleashing chaos, rewriting destinies, it's a game changer, and it's quickly reshaping the landscape of athletic competition. But in this world of heroes and villains, there's another shift. One final disruptor with the potential to change college sports forever.
For decades, college sports has generated billions of dollars off the backs of college athletes, but that could soon be changing. Today, the NCAA is set to vote on a recommendation by the Division I Council that would suspend amateurism rules related to name, image, and likeness.
For as long as I can remember, I've been a Nebraska football fan. I love the smell of Valentino's pizzas at the games. I love watching the four-year veterans run out of the tunnel on senior night. And I love knowing the team had been built from the ground up with in-state kids who would give their blood, sweat, and tears for their university. On July 1st, 2021, everything I love about college football was put in jeopardy. This date marked the moment college athletes became eligible for NIL sponsorships, which On3 Sports simply describes as the possibility of compensation paid to NCAA student athletes to promote, partner, or represent brands. NIL stands for name, image, and likeness, and these new rules allow college athletes to be paid for everything they do for their colleges. One recent example saw Nebraska Cornhusker wideout DeColdest Crawford gain an NIL partnership with a Nebraska heating and cooling company, claiming they have DeColdest air conditioning. Yeah, that's a real NIL deal. By the time he had left for Louisiana Tech via the transfer portal, he hadn't even stepped on the field for the Cornhuskers. Without even catching touchdowns, he was a fan favorite.
Take it from the coldest. We will keep you cool this summer.
The idea of paying players might not be as revolutionary as it seems, however, and the idea of paying college football players goes back to the early 1900s. Alongside NIL, the addition of the transfer portal in 2018 gives players more powers to demand the partnerships they want and ultimately allows college athletes to call the shots. So how does the effects of NIL impact the world of collegiate athletics from a competitive and entertainment viewpoint? How has the combination of the transfer portal and NIL sponsorships completely reshaped the landscape of college athletics? Well, for hundreds of athletes and fans across the country, college sports simply isn't what it used to be.
I think it's actually forced some guys out of coaching because they just don't even want to deal with this.
We've had players on our team already have people from other teams contact them, come in, walk in, say, Coach, look at this. It's a sad state of college football.
These new changes are not only beneficial to athletes, but companies, brands, and universities as well. NIL can consistently add to the advertising and marketing landscape with new and valuable resources. College athletes can be very influential and are often viewed as public figures the younger generation are inspired by.
It doesn't only benefit me monetarily, but it kind of empowers me, and it empowers people around me to see huge goals like that. And even though I'm just a small nobody rugby player, I'm inspiring people around me and other small athletes. Like, there's way more small athletes that nobody knows about than huge top names.
However, these changes quickly turned the environment of college sports, which has been thriving untouched for 50 years, into a business that some say only prioritizes money. This new system is essentially turning collegiate athletics into its own form of professional sports. Conference rivalries, which have connected storied universities, are disappearing as conferences shift to adjust to these new rules. The Pac-12 no longer exists. UCLA, Oregon, and USC in the Big Ten? What is really going on here? This shift caters towards the financial success of the athletes, universities, and brands, as opposed to giving fans what they truly want, a team to root for. To further examine this discussion, I dove into this thesis over the past 2 years and have gathered all types of data in order to fully understand this conversation and all of its moving parts. through this research, through interviewing current and former college athletes, through polling the fans, who are the ones who actually watch the games, through advanced methodology used to extract themes and narratives. Through all of this, I have a conclusion to my question. This conclusion is a proposal that we as a country, as a fan base, as sports enthusiasts, come together and rethink what we are doing with NIL. Rethink and assess the message it is giving off to the kids who are benefiting from it and those who aren't. Although I would consider myself a futurist, someone who is constantly pushing the narrative and looking for the next best thing, I am also a believer in phrases like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I believe and have built my thesis around this idea. NIL and the transfer portal have created an unstable environment that prioritizes quick success and financial gain for both university and athlete over student growth and quality sports entertainment.
Here's the thing. It's professional sports now. It's professional sports. Let's call it what it is. Guys are getting paid to play, but it's professional sports without any restrictions really whatsoever on the player. They can take money to go to a school and it doesn't work out for them. They can leave the next year, go to another school and take money from that school as well.
First off, it's important to have a full knowledge and understanding of NIL and the way it works. Due to multimedia becoming one complete library of data surrounding entertainment, sports, news, and more, college athletes can make an impact in many more ways than they used to, thus also being able to profit off these separate endeavors. Choosing a university based on history, culture, and the school's ability to promote themselves used to be staple characteristics of an athlete's decision-making process. Now, the data suggests many athletes simply go to the university offering them the most money to play for their team. But can you really blame them? It's important to truly have a baseline understanding of how NIL works. Although we have an outline, here's a deeper look to clarify some gray areas. It's a little more complex than it seems, so bear with me. Currently, schools cannot directly pay their players. Although there are already many coaches and universities lobbying for athlete salaries and direct NIL compensation, scholarships are the only exception. Universities have been directly paying their students to attend their schools since the early 1900s. So where does the rest of the money come from? Who is paying these athletes, and how do the universities have all the power if they're not the ones pulling from their own pockets? Here's how it all connects. College athletics, specifically the larger universities, boast some of the largest fan bases in the world, and local communities have been rallying around their favorite teams for hundreds of years. The universities have endless connections with local and national businesses and are consistently able to offer up avenues to NIL deals. Local business owners want to see their teams improve, so they offer NIL deals in hopes of attracting the nation's top talent. This goes for larger brands as well. One great example of this is the Three Stripes. Adidas has been Nebraska's athletic apparel sponsor since 1995. Since NIL became available to students, countless partnerships have grown through player branding and marketing campaigns. Nebraska women's volleyball player Lexi Rodriguez was the latest Husker to sign an NIL deal. Macy Boziger, another Husker volleyball player, boasts over 170,000 TikTok followers where she posts all about the NIL sponsorship she obtained while playing for the storied program. This connection provides what I like to call the triangle of success, individually benefiting the university by using player-based advertising to draw attention to their team in college, benefiting the player by financially supporting them and growing their social fan base, and benefiting the sponsored brand by showing it off in the hands of one of the most popular athletes in the country. It's kind of genius when you think about it. Alongside brand deals and partnerships, donor-fueled collectives raise money and funnel it to college athletes through name, image, and likeness opportunities. These donor collectives are typically groups of alumni and boosters that raise money for college athletes on behalf of their universities. Every single school in the Power 5 conferences has a donor collective, and they have a lot of power. It seems like you hear less and less stories about kids playing where their grandfather did or at their mother's college alma mater to continue on the family traditions, and more stories about how each offensive lineman at Texas is getting a guaranteed $50,000 NIL deal just to suit up for the Longhorns. Are there exceptions to this change? Of course. 2024 number one ranked quarterback in the nation, Dylan Raiola, is a great example. Despite offers from top football universities like Georgia and Florida State, Raiola chose to follow in his father's footsteps and attend the University of Nebraska, which, if you haven't followed college football as of late, is a depleted program without a conference championship in the past 2 decades. Pretty much the laughingstock of college football. Please take us back to the promised land, Dylan. This change has also had a notable effect to the college transfer portal since coming into effect. The transfer portal, which was instilled in 2018, is a tool used by the NCAA to manage and facilitate the process of a student athlete wishing to transfer to another university. An athlete notifies their college of their desire to transfer, and the school has 48 hours to enter the athlete's name into the portal. In 2019, just 694 college men's basketball players decided to switch things up and play for another program. By 2022, that number nearly doubled, with 1,300 student athletes transferring to another college. I wonder if the ability to make hundreds of thousands of dollars at another location has anything to do with that. Before the transfer portal, if a student wanted to transfer to another school because they didn't like the coach or weren't getting playing time, they had to sit out a year. The transfer portal simply makes that process easier. Regardless of a player's athletic ability or actual talent, schools want entertainment. Billionaire NBA superstar LeBron James' son, Bronny, is a great example. Bronny isn't anywhere near a top-level player in college basketball, but boy is he a celebrity, and he's making $5.9 million through his partnerships with brands like Nike, PSD, and Beats by Dre. Care to take a guess at who's second in NIL payouts? Shedeur Sanders, son of NFL legend Deion Sanders, $4.8 million. To further the discussion, in my opinion, college athletics as a whole are slowly developing into an atmosphere that is just simply boring. Another side note here. If there was ever a singular competition that was able to sway my complete viewpoint of NIL and college athletics, it would be March Madness. And boy, oh boy, the 2023 men's NCAA college basketball tournament did not disappoint. It was the first time in years I actually felt a legitimate connection to the event. And I didn't even have the liberty of supporting my hometown Huskers, who haven't won a single game in the tournament. I'm starting to notice a trend about Nebraska sports. So was the 2023 tournament able to swing my mindset and enough to hop on the NIL bandwagon? Not quite. Let's get back to my previous points and ignore this outlier from March for now. It just hasn't felt the same in past years or nearly as genuine or exciting when a team of all transfers with not as much chemistry wins a national championship based off of purely talent. I have always felt like seeing the group of seniors who worked their tails off for 4 years to improve from a 1-11 to 12-0 record and finally get the job done is so much more rewarding and entertaining to watch as a fan. Though I'm sure some might say they don't care who the players are, they just want to watch good football. I can understand that. But also, we have to think about the message we are sending these kids. Sheer talent isn't always going to win out. You aren't always going to be able to solve your problems with money or move to another school, business, or agency. We are essentially telling these kids, oh, things aren't going your way? That's okay. Just come play for us. We'll get you more money and everything will be okay. One more side note about March. I think part of the reason the 2023 tournament was so entertaining is because it was the first year in a very long time that almost all underdogs made it to the Final Four. San Diego State, a program that has never made it past the Elite Eight, took a team who boasted the most seniors of any team in the tournament to the final, just losing out on the championship against a stone-cold UConn squad who just went back-to-back. The most entertaining tournament in years was a result of the performance by a chemistry-minded team of seniors who bonded together to make a run, not 13 transfers.
Now, I met with the team. There is no team.
Moving forward, these changes have also completely revolutionized the way communication is used within college athletics. It changes the way athletes communicate with fellow players, media, and staff, and it also changes a coach's perspective about recruiting. A coach's focus used to be in two places: current players and incoming freshmen. That's no longer the case. Universities no longer need to communicate with an athlete and sell themselves how they used to. They don't have to meticulously navigate a student through their culture and history and explain why playing at their college means so much. Now they can just simply say, here's $1 million, kid. Grab your helmet. Are there some aspects of tradition and history that live on? Yes, I'm sure there are. Some would even argue that up to 90% of athletes still choose where to attend college based off of those characteristics. And although I can't make the complete case that it's intrinsically wrong for universities to cater their programs towards financial gain, of course they should. But it does feel wrong that these programs might prioritize that aspect over teaching kids about life beyond athletics and providing meaningful experiences for student athletes. So what do the fans have to say about all this? For starters, only 11.8% of responses believe that college athletes do not deserve compensation for their efforts. So it's clear that there was a general consensus that college athletes should be paid. Over 60% of responses believe that the transfer portal and NIL have had a negative effect on college athletics. This being a result of the belief that allowing student athletes to transfer to any school in pursuit of success takes away from the team atmosphere of college athletics as a whole. So, what have we learned? And what can we look forward to learning? Well, I think it's safe to say that we've established there are positives and negatives to both NIL and the transfer portal. Is this discussion worth reevaluating? Absolutely. Legendary Alabama head coach Nick Saban has his thoughts. Although some believe that the only reason he's making a fuss about it now is the fact that Alabama has been paying their athletes under the table for decades. Keep in mind also, Alabama has more money than just about anyone in college sports, so you'd think these changes would benefit Saban. But if these athletes don't enjoy Alabama, it's just as easy to go make some money anywhere else, even if it means less success on the football field.
All the things that I believed in for all these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exist in college athletics. So it's always was about developing players. It was always about helping people be more successful in life. My wife even said to me, we'd have all the recruits over on Sunday, and she came to me, like right before I retired and said, why are we doing this? And I said, what do you mean? She said, all they care about is how much you're going to pay them. They don't care about how you're going to develop them, which is all what we've always done. So why are we doing this?
Is all that really true? Do all these athletes really just care about the money? Well, when I started out on this journey, I wanted to be careful. I didn't want to lock myself into navigating a narrative which might not have a complete answer right now. Isn't that how all this started? Early success, easy answers. The truth is, I don't really have an answer. What I do have is a belief that there is nothing like college sports.
Rush, stepping up, throwing to Kroll, catches the lateral. Here comes Willis racing to the end zone. Touchdown! Unbelievable! Central Michigan does it!
Jones. Watford for the win! Yes! Yes! Unbelievable! Can't believe it!
Tate chips it up nicely. Here come the Gophers. Can they make it in time to get a shot? Wow, blocked. Rebound. Oh, shot's gone! Justin Hall, I think he beat the buzzer. Of course, we'll take a look at this.
Does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it to the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow! Oh my God! Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl.
From 3 in the first half, they're going to have to do something from the outside now. It's Page off balance. Puts it out. Ties the game with 4.7 seconds to go. With Archie Diacono, 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship. The national champions. With Jenkins hitting the winner at the buzzer.
Gotta get rid of it. Throw it up there.
Kellogg's throw. It's going to be tipped and caught. It's caught. It's caught in the touchdown, Western Times. Daniel on the screen. Walker with 7. On this match, Walker on McGee with 4. Kemba Walker, step back. Walker, cardiac Kemba does it again. UConn wins at the buzzer.
If you're reading this as someone who doesn't enjoy living in the unknown without answers, this might be anticlimactic or frustrating. But look at the data. Look at these responses from athletes, fans, and coaches alike. There's conflicting evidence, disagreements. Although we don't have a clear-cut solution quite yet, as the world of college athletics continues to evolve, Some potential solutions look similar to how professional leagues created loyalty and talent balance. Some suggest that salary caps are the answer, which are used in professional leagues to stop a team from spending enough to create an unfair advantage. This could potentially look like putting a cap on the amount of NIL money a university can offer. Maybe we look at potentially offering players university-paid contracts to balance monetary compensation and provide clarity. I think through it all, NIL transparency has to become the norm. Some believe putting in a policy that regulates NIL deals and forces athletes to announce just how much their NIL deals are worth would allow athletes to see what they're worth and set standards across the country. The problem is, even these solutions have problems, and through my research, there seems to be an overarching consensus among NIL investigators. No one has the answers, and as much as I want to believe there is a solution currently out there to revert college athletics back to how they used to be, I'm not as certain it's one I can currently offer up. Occasionally, change is good. Maybe this is just one more stepping stone in the right direction. Sometimes things get much worse before they get better. Even as I'm recording this video, the state of Virginia has just passed a law allowing schools to pay athletes for NIL, marking another significant step in the professionalization of college sports. The law could either give Virginia schools a significant recruiting advantage or provide a catalyst for similar changes elsewhere. This is it. We're seeing the evolution of NIL and the transfer portal right in front of our own eyes. In the meantime, root for your team. Wear your favorite player's jersey. You're basically paying them anyway. I'll leave you with this. In professional sports, success breeds loyalty. In college, it's quite the opposite. Nebraska football hasn't had a winning season since 2016. Not a first-round NFL draft pick since 2011. They haven't won a conference championship since '99. A national championship since '97. Despite this, despite years and years of disaster, they've sold out the stadium 396 games in a row, dating back to 1962. Maybe I'm biased, but forget NIL, forget the transfer portal. Tradition lives on, and college sports aren't going anywhere.